deep dive today into exactly how the Queen felt about Meghan Markle. And when I say she hated her, I know some people will think that is a strong word, Brittany, but I just want to explain what I mean.
Meghan Markle used a surrogate. That's been something posited literally for well over 3 years when it comes to her firstborn son, Archie, and even her daughter, Lilibet. And many people even wonder, are their children even real?
What if Queen Elizabeth's final clash with Meghan Markle had nothing to do with racism or that famous Oprah interview at all? What if the real reason was something far more explosive, something the palace had quietly been whispering about behind closed doors for years? Surrogacy! Palace insiders are now claiming that one of the most intense arguments between Her Majesty and the Duchess of Sussex happened during the Queen's final months. And according to those reports, the conversation centered on a topic that has sparked endless speculation online and inside royal circles alike: surrogacy. The claims coming out now suggest Meghan is deeply worried, because if the full story ever surfaces, it could shake the carefully crafted image she's built over the years. People have pointed to strange moments that never quite added up. Talk about invisible children, confusing medical timelines, and those viral moon bump moments that had the internet buzzing. The Queen reportedly knew all about the rumors, the whispers, and the growing questions, and sources claim she wanted clear answers before her time ran out. In September 2022, Queen Elizabeth II passed away at Balmoral Castle at the age of 96. But what many people did not realize at the time was how much this controversy was weighing on her during her final months. Even while battling serious illness and enduring intense pain, insiders say the Queen was deeply troubled by what she believed could be a major deception involving the monarchy and the British public. According to palace insiders who spoke with royal biographer Sally Bedell-Smith, the Queen had a blunt way of describing the entire situation. She reportedly said it stank to high heaven. That was not mild suspicion or polite royal concern. Sources say she truly believed something was seriously wrong with the story surrounding the pregnancies. During her final weeks at Balmoral, just about a month before her passing, Queen Elizabeth reportedly stunned a small group of guests at a private drinks reception. Out of nowhere, the conversation turned to Harry and Meghan. One insider who was present said the Queen did not hold back. She reportedly said that Harry meeting Meghan had turned into a complete catastrophe and even described her as evil. The room apparently went silent. People were shocked. Hearing such a strong word from a monarch known for patience and restraint left everyone stunned. As one witness put it, everybody's eyebrows hit the ceiling. It was the kind of moment no one expected from someone often described as one of the most forgiving figures in public life. But the most explosive detail involves the final dispute between the Queen and the Sussexes. According to insiders, the argument centered on the surrogacy allegations. The Queen reportedly wanted clear proof, birth certificates signed by doctors, medical documentation, hospital records, anything that could settle the rumors and confirm the legal requirements tied to royal succession. Yet sources claim those documents were never provided, which only deepened the tension surrounding the issue. Under long-standing royal rules, the heir must be born directly from the body of the titled royal mother. If a surrogate were involved, the situation would be completely different. In that case, Archie and Lilibet would not qualify for royal succession rights or certain titles under those traditional rules. The Queen reportedly understood those rules very clearly. Harry and Meghan understood them too. That is exactly why, according to critics and royal watchers, the secrecy surrounding the births has always seemed so intense and tightly controlled. Now the questions grow even louder when medical professionals look closely at the official story surrounding Archie's birth. In his memoir, Spare, Prince Harry describes several moments from the delivery that doctors say do not sound typical from a medical standpoint. Some experts have even called parts of the timeline highly unusual. For example, Harry writes that Meghan received 2 epidurals while in labor at Portland Hospital. Normally, an epidural involves placing a catheter near the spinal cord, so medication can be adjusted throughout labor. Once it is in place, doctors rarely remove and replace it unless there is a serious complication that requires careful monitoring. Yet the timeline Harry described raised eyebrows. In the book, he suggests that Meghan left the hospital and returned home with Archie roughly 2 hours after the birth. Considering the travel distance from central London to Windsor, many observers say that timeline sounds extremely tight and difficult to imagine happening that quickly. That timeline barely covers the drive alone, never mind everything that normally happens after a baby is born. Hospitals have strict procedures, post-delivery checks, medical paperwork, newborn screenings, and recovery monitoring for the mother. Anyone who has gone through childbirth knows it is not a quick exit situation, even when everything goes smoothly. In most cases, new mothers remain under observation for at least 24 hours. Doctors and nurses track vital signs, monitor bleeding, and make sure the mother is recovering properly. At the same time, the newborn goes through several examinations to check breathing, reflexes, and overall health. Feeding also has to be established before discharge. One obstetric nurse with 2 decades of experience explained it bluntly, saying hospitals simply do not rush this process. The same nurse reportedly said there is no way a hospital would risk the liability of sending a mother home just 2 hours after giving birth. From a medical and legal standpoint, it would raise serious concerns. The questions grow even louder when claims about complications enter the picture. Meghan has said she experienced preeclampsia during pregnancy, a condition doctors treat very seriously because it can cause severe blood pressure spikes and other dangerous symptoms. Because of those risks, patients with preeclampsia are usually monitored closely after delivery, sometimes for several days. Medical professionals have also pointed out another major issue with the timeline Harry described. After an epidural, the lower body typically stays numb for several hours. Patients often cannot walk normally and may not even feel basic sensations like bladder pressure until the medication wears off. Because of that, nurses closely monitor mobility before allowing a patient to move around safely. That is why critics say the situation described raises serious questions. The idea that Meghan could have had 2 epidurals, possibly dealt with a serious pregnancy complication, recovered quickly, gotten dressed, and then traveled within just 2 hours sounds extremely unlikely from a medical standpoint. Doctors say the timing simply does not line up with how these procedures normally work. When a royal baby is born, the palace also follows very strict traditions. The monarch is informed first, an official notice is prepared, and the press is alerted in an organized way. It is usually a carefully managed moment that follows long-established royal protocol. But when Archie's birth was announced, the situation appeared unusually messy. Several different explanations were given about why the press was not informed in the traditional way. At first, privacy concerns were mentioned. Later, complications during the birth were suggested as the reason for the delay. Then yet another explanation surfaced. Because of those shifting explanations, reporters said they received mixed signals about what was happening. Some were told the baby had already been born hours earlier, while others believed Meghan was still in labor at the time. That level of confusion was unusual for such a tightly controlled royal announcement. Then came a moment that many viewers found truly strange. When Prince Harry stepped out to present baby Archie to the cameras, he made a comment that immediately caught attention. Smiling, he said, "It's amazing how much he's changed in the last 2 weeks." 2 weeks! That single line instantly sparked confusion because the baby had just been introduced as newly born. Harry quickly corrected himself, but the remark spread across the internet in minutes. Critics began asking the obvious question, why mention 2 weeks if the baby had only just arrived? Some people speculated the comment hinted the child might have been older than the public realized during that first appearance, and the unusual moments did not stop there. One of the most talked about clips came from Birkenhead, where video footage showed Meghan's baby bump appearing to shift downward under her coat while she was walking. The clip exploded online because at one point the shape seemed to drop unusually low, almost toward her knees. Supporters argued it was simply the way the coat folded or how shadows fell on camera, but skeptics pointed out that multiple angles appeared to show the same strange movement. The discussion only grew louder as more photos surfaced during the pregnancy. Across dozens of images, critics claimed the bump seemed to change size and position from one day to the next.
What Meghan and Harry did instead was they did not announce it when Meghan went into labor, for whatever reason. They kept Archie's birth private for over 8 hours. They did not tell people that he was actually born and arrived until 8 hours later. They also issued a confusing press release suggesting Meghan had just gone into labor after Archie had already been born. So they were playing games here with this, and the result was that the media and the public felt misled.
In some pictures, it looked unusually high and firm, while in others, it appeared lower or less defined. Those visual differences fueled even more debate among photographers and royal watchers, examining the images closely. Then another moment raised even more eyebrows. In June 2025, Meghan shared a video that quickly spread across social media. The clip showed her dancing energetically in what appeared to be a hospital room while Harry filmed. The caption suggested they were trying to induce labor before Lilibet's birth by dancing together. Medical professionals quickly reacted, and many said the scenario sounded unrealistic. Doctors and midwives explained that hospitals do not normally admit patients simply to dance around in hopes of starting labor. Admission usually happens when labor is already active or when a medical induction is scheduled and closely supervised. One midwife commented that in genuine labor, most women are focused on managing contractions and discomfort rather than performing energetic movements for a camera. Labor can be intense and physically demanding, which is why medical staff typically monitor patients carefully during that time. Critics also pointed out another angle. They argued the video felt more like social media content than a private family moment. To them, it looked like another example of turning major life events into shareable online clips that quickly attract attention and discussion. Then there is the ongoing curiosity surrounding the children themselves. Prince William and Princess Catherine's kids are often seen at school events, official appearances, and occasional public outings. Archie and Lilibet, however, are rarely photographed or seen in public. Living in California, a place filled with paparazzi and public sightings, many observers say the lack of everyday glimpses has only added to the mystery people continue to talk about. Another detail critics often point to is how Harry and Meghan appear to travel. They are frequently seen flying to events, conferences, and media appearances, yet the children are almost never mentioned during those trips. There are rarely photos of them traveling as a family, no visible moments of school drop-offs, and almost no public references to childcare arrangements. To some royal watchers, it creates the strange impression that the kids simply disappear from the story whenever major events are happening. That leads to a question many commentators ask: why has Buckingham Palace never pushed publicly for clear documentation like detailed birth records or other confirmation? Some analysts claim the palace avoids that road entirely because the situation could explode into a public relations disaster. If the monarchy were seen questioning the legitimacy of Harry and Meghan's children, critics believe the debate could instantly turn into accusations of racism. The issue became even more sensitive after the famous Oprah interview. During that conversation, Meghan said there were concerns about Archie's skin color and suggested that played a role in discussions about titles. That claim shocked viewers around the world and dominated headlines for weeks. However, royal historians later pointed to the long-standing 1917 rules established under King George V. Under those rules, the children and grandchildren of the monarch through the male line received the titles of prince or princess. When King Charles later became monarch, Archie became eligible as the sovereign's grandchild. Even so, the earlier interview shaped public perception, and millions of viewers walked away believing the controversy had been driven by racism. According to critics of the situation, the palace understood that any public investigation into surrogacy rumors could instantly explode into a massive controversy. The concern, they say, was that questioning the births might be framed as discrimination, with headlines claiming the children were being targeted because of Meghan's background. Supporters of the monarchy argue the issue would actually revolve around constitutional rules, not race. The laws governing royal succession apply the same way to everyone in the royal line. But in today's media climate, many palace observers believe the debate could easily spiral into a global scandal that dominates headlines for months. That possibility reportedly placed Queen Elizabeth in an incredibly difficult position during her final months. If she publicly pushed the issue, it could trigger a storm that might damage the very institution she had spent more than 70 years protecting. For a monarch known for caution and stability, that kind of risk was enormous. Some critics describe the situation as political checkmate. They claim the Queen may have felt trapped, unable to openly challenge the rumors without igniting a crisis for the monarchy itself. Adding another layer to the speculation, Meghan's half-sister Samantha once spoke to journalists about family discussions surrounding the pregnancy timeline. She said, My father said 9 months before Archie was born that Meghan picked up frozen eggs if they used a surrogate. Admit it. Those remarks only fueled even more debate among commentators already questioning the story. Under long-standing British constitutional rules, critics often point out that a royal heir must be born from the body of a titled royal mother in order to qualify for the official line of succession. If a surrogate were involved, those rules could raise complicated legal questions about titles and succession rights. Some commentators claim this is why the topic keeps resurfacing in royal discussions. They argue that if the rumors were ever proven true, it could potentially affect where Archie and Lilibet stand within the royal family structure. Supporters of Harry and Meghan strongly reject those claims, but the debate continues to circulate in media circles. Members of Meghan's extended family have also made public comments that fueled speculation. Her half-sister Samantha once criticized the secrecy surrounding the children and questioned why clear documentation had not been released to settle the rumors once and for all. She argued that providing proof would immediately silence critics and end the endless debate. Because those documents have never been publicly presented, critics say the silence itself keeps the conversation alive. Royal supporters, on the other hand, argue that the couple simply values privacy and does not feel obligated to answer every rumor circulating online. Meanwhile, Queen Elizabeth II spent her final months facing serious health struggles. Reports later revealed she was battling bone cancer, suffering from severe pain, and becoming increasingly frail during her last days at Balmoral. Friends close to the monarch said the situation surrounding her grandson weighed heavily on her during that time. According to some insiders, the Queen had difficult conversations with Harry and Meghan and wanted clarity about the rumors that had been swirling for years. Those questions were never publicly resolved before her passing. Today, under King Charles III, Archie and Lilibet remain in the 6th and 7th positions in the royal line of succession, and the controversy continues to spark debate among royal watchers around the world. Even now, the questions have not disappeared. In fact, many royal watchers say the mystery surrounding the births has only grown louder over time. Every new interview, every public appearance, and every documentary seems to reopen the same debate that palace insiders once tried so hard to keep quiet. Supporters of Harry and Meghan insist the entire controversy is built on rumors and speculation. They argue the couple simply chose privacy after years of intense media pressure. From their perspective, protecting their children from constant cameras and headlines is completely understandable in today's chaotic celebrity culture. But critics see it very differently. They say the royal family operates under strict constitutional traditions, and transparency matters when it comes to the line of succession. Because of that, some commentators continue asking why simple documentation was never shown to silence the speculation once and for all. For now, Buckingham Palace remains silent, refusing to address the swirling rumors directly. That silence has allowed the debate to keep growing online, with royal observers dissecting every detail, every timeline, and every public statement. And until clear answers are ever provided, if they ever are, the story remains one of the most controversial mysteries surrounding the modern royal family. A puzzle filled with whispers, unanswered questions, and a truth that some believe is still waiting to be revealed. And this is where the story becomes even more complicated. Inside royal circles, reputation and stability are everything. The monarchy survives on tradition, trust, and the belief that the system follows clear rules that have been in place for generations. If those traditions were ever seriously questioned, it would not just be a family dispute, it could shake confidence in the institution itself. That is why many royal analysts believe the palace handles sensitive issues with extreme caution. One wrong move, one public accusation, and the media storm could spiral out of control overnight. At the same time, the modern media world moves faster than ever. Online investigators, commentators, and royal watchers analyze every speech, every photograph, and every timeline looking for clues. A single strange moment can turn into a viral debate within hours. Because of that, the story surrounding Harry, Meghan, and their children continues to live in two completely different worlds. On one side, supporters say the couple deserves privacy and freedom from endless scrutiny. On the other side, critics argue that royal status brings public accountability. Until someone inside the palace decides to address the rumors directly, the speculation will likely keep circulating, growing louder with every passing year. What makes the entire situation even more dramatic is the timing of everything that happened during the Queen's final years. While the monarchy was already dealing with global attention, internal tensions inside the royal family were quietly reaching a boiling point behind palace walls. Prince Harry and Meghan had already stepped away from royal duties and moved across the Atlantic, launching interviews, documentaries, and public statements that shook the institution. Each new revelation pulled the royal family deeper into controversy, forcing palace officials to constantly manage headlines and public reactions. At the same time, Queen Elizabeth was entering the final chapter of her reign. After more than 70 years on the throne, she had seen wars, scandals, political crises, and historic cultural shifts. Few leaders in modern history carried that level of responsibility for so long. Friends close to the monarch later suggested that family divisions weighed heavily on her during those last months. For someone who had spent decades protecting the stability of the crown, watching public disputes unfold inside her own family was deeply painful. That is why some royal observers believe the unanswered questions surrounding Harry and Meghan became part of a much larger struggle, one that blended family loyalty, royal tradition, and the intense pressure of modern media scrutiny. To this day, critics point out that no detailed birth documentation has ever been publicly presented. No hospital records, no physician confirmations, no DNA verification, only official statements asking the public to take the story at face value. For some observers, that silence raises even more questions, especially after years of headlines, interviews, and conflicting claims that have kept the royal drama alive. Many royal watchers believe that if clear proof were ever released, the speculation would end overnight. A single piece of undeniable documentation could shut down the rumors instantly. Yet the secrecy continues, and that mystery keeps people talking across social media, news panels, and royal forums around the world. Some commentators say Queen Elizabeth may have already suspected the truth during her final days. Others believe the full story has never been revealed to the public. Either way, the debate refuses to fade away. Now, the question moves to King Charles and the future of the monarchy. Should the palace finally settle the issue with full transparency, or is silence still the safest path for the crown? What do you think about this situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into royal controversies like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others. This story is still unfolding, and many believe the real truth has not surfaced yet.